it is a bit of a mountain to climb. And I think your listeners will know there is an enormous amount to fix here, but we are on it. We have done this work at record speed already, and the change really starts to happen once we enter the beginning of 2025.
So Ofcom's Chief Executive, Dame Melanie Dawes, there speaking to Rachel on 5 Live Breakfast today. Now, Instagram's parent company Meta has announced new features aimed at protecting teen users. They say the measures are going to stop people being able to screenshot or screen record images or videos intended to be viewed just once. And this is part of ongoing efforts to prevent so-called sextortion on the platform. But will these new measures actually make things safer? Well, Ellen Room is part of the Bereaved Families for Online Safety group. Ellen's 14-year-old son Jools died in April 2022. She thinks that he might have taken part in an online challenge that went wrong. She joins us now. Hello, Ellen.
Good evening. Hi.
Thanks for being with us. Before we get into the story and what's happening, tell us a bit about Jools, Ellen. What was he like?
Delightful, but then I would say that, wouldn't I?
Well, mothers do say that, but I can, that's what he was.
Yes, he wasn't. It wasn't a saint, He still had his naughty side.
Yeah.
He was a normal 14-year-old child, and I think that's important. He didn't suffer with any negative health that anybody was aware of. He wasn't being bullied offline. He was bright. He was popular. And one day in April 22, I came back to find he had taken his life. And I don't understand why. And then I approached social media companies to say, well, we've looked offline. So the inquest ruled a narrative verdict. They couldn't be certain that he was in a suicidal mood. So it just explains how he ended his life. And from my point of view at the time, I wasn't strong enough to fight that. And what I then realised is nobody's even searched his social media properly.
Yeah.
Now that we can prove, children are affected by sextortion, bullying, grooming, you name it. We've all heard of these things countless times, and I want to know if that happened to my son.
Well, we're really sorry for your loss, Ellen, and appreciate you, being able to talk about it. It must be difficult. But also your work with the group, you part of the Bereaved Families for Online Safety group.
Yes.
You obviously feel strongly that you want to try and enforce a change, given what you've been through.
Yes, all of us have suffered a loss. Most of us, it's children related. There's somebody with her sister, and it is about making a positive out of the most horrific situation and trying to make it safer for other children. I don't have other children, so this isn't something I'm doing to protect my children. It's to protect other children and other families and stop this happening to other people.
What do you make of these measures then?
Well, Ofcom, since the online safety bill has been out for a year, it's about time they start enforcing it. It's a shame that it's going to be spring before they start making actual enforcements and fining companies. Some of the measures the social media companies have brought out are okay, but I don't think they go far enough to protect people. So, for example, teen accounts, my big gripe about how much Instagram are doing with teen accounts is that they're not doing age verification checks. So you've got children that are potentially lying about their age, and this teen account isn't going to help them because as far as Instagram are concerned, they're 20 on their platform and not 13 or whatever they are.
What do you make of those who argue, some of the big tech companies will say, well, ultimately, there has to be a degree of parental responsibility here as well in terms of how children interact with social media and on their phones and things, and that actually they can do so much, but also, parents need to do the rest.
I fully understand parents have a role in educating their children. The problem you've got is children are often smarter with technology than the parents are. So it wasn't until Jools died that I now know there's various apps. You can hide certain things on the phone. I didn't know that. I thought, I was quite up to date with what Jools had.
Yeah.
And that's not just him. A lot of teenagers are very clever and about, I have a friend of mine who was saying their daughter they have a screen time so they can monitor how long they're online for. Apparently, their daughter was changing the time, and so they could spend longer on the thing by changing the time and overriding the screen time.
Yeah.
So there's all these things that parents can do, but it's not. It's almost impossible to keep up to date with all the changes.
So for you, should the onus be on the tech companies to make the change?
100%.
Right.
100%. Because as much as the parents want to enforce it, that you've still got social media companies providing a platform where you've got under 18s seeing porn, beheadings, really graphic images. Now, why on earth can they promote these things on their website and not have any accountability? They've got to be held accountable. That if they've got their websites, they've got a duty to make sure that children aren't seeing that. And it's all very well saying that a teen's account is going to protect them. Well, they need to make sure who the teens are, first of all.
Yeah. Are you hopeful, Ellen, given your work here? You've dealt with the companies when, in Jools' case, you've spoken to them, you're part of the group. You know how difficult it is to get change on big corporates like that. Do you feel hopeful that things are going to change, so that things will be better in the future?
No, I don't actually.
And how does that make you feel?
Sick. Sick that it's going to make me emotional. It would make me sick to think another family could lose a child and go through what I've gone through. And if I could be in front of a social media company or people that could make changes, I would say, please, please make changes, because the devastation of a loss of a child is horrific. And it isn't just the parents, it is his friends, it is his friends' parents. The ripple effect is massive, and we need to stop this, and we need to stop it now.
It's okay to be emotional about it, Ellen.
Sorry.
No, don't.
It's
you don't
still
have to.
My son.
Yeah, absolutely. You should never apologise about that, because what you've been through is unimaginable for many, and it's really difficult. So you never apologise about being emotional about it, because that is what you've experienced, and that's an emotion that's okay to feel. And I really appreciate you being with us tonight and talking about it. And Jools will no doubt be proud of your efforts to get change. And we will no doubt be following this. We followed this story very closely on 5 Live in the past, and we will do so in the future. Ellen, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Ellen Room there, part of the Bereaved Families for Online Safety Group, talking to us about her son Jools and these changes that Ofcom wants to see happen on social media in the future. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. It is now